Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. We are back at it again, doing what the fuck we do. A little bit different now, though, because tonight it's redraft. We starting redraft from here on out. I got the Craft Man with me. What up, Craft Man?
Nothing much, dude. You know, doing the same old thing. Redraft is my main bitch, dude. She's been with me since 2011. I just started Dynasty like 2 years ago. So redraft has always been close to my heart. I love them both, but I'm excited to get into it tonight.
Same, man. Same. We got right here with us. We talking RBs. So you know we brought the RB Whisperer in the building. Ian Pati Poopa. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Out here pooping on parties, you know, talking about running backs, the fake stuff, redraft. Austin said this is his bitch, but he's my bitch, so this is my bitch's bitch. And we love this shit, dude. We get on here. We do this for fun, man. We don't even care if y'all listen, but if you do, give us a 5-star. Help us out. We're trying to get famous. And then if you really help us out, we might kick you back something like a T-shirt or something.
Got that merch on the way, man. Yep. You know, back into this redraft. Hey, today we're doing some running back rankings. Couple redraft guys right here. I'm in a redraft league with these dudes, man. I can't wait. So tonight we're doing running back rankings. We might just go through every ranking we got, all the numbers, so you get all the good information of how we think of these players. We got some differences, got some similarities, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What you say, Kraft?
Yeah, we do. We ain't got no set number. We're just gonna go, just go with the flow, really, and give everybody some content to listen to and see where everybody stands. We're gonna have to defend ourselves every now and again on some of our rankings, but it's gonna be a good episode.
Right. Agreed. And so it was like Ian said earlier, this has been a good summer for us. Thanks for listening. Changing the tune up a little bit. We'll still be talking Dynasty, throughout the season, some topics. But while football's here, we're definitely going to bust into that redraft 1 year.
Bum, 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 bum.
1 year talkabouts. But shoot, let's just go ahead and get on started, man. Just for the record, we really didn't even talk about much how we was going to do this. We just going to go with it.
Yep, we're just going to go with the flow, but this is the first year. We didn't do it last year. We do have consensus running back rankings. We all have our own rankings, but we average them together, and we have our own consensus this year, so this is the first for us.
We did not average them together. You averaged.
And it wasn't easy.
Right.
It was not easy.
And this is all three of ours, right? All three of them?
This is mine, yours, and Ian's rankings averaged up together.
But mine counts for 2 because I'm the expert.
He is the expert on the running back. So we'll just go ahead and just start it off from the top, man. I'll just go ahead and name the top 6 guys. At number 1, we got CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Number 2, we got Austin Eckler. Number 3, we got Bijan Robinson. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. 5, Nick Chubb. 6, Derrick Henry. Look, Kraft, CMC, number 1. I feel like it's pretty obvious. I think we all had him at number 1. Even though Austin Eckler had that good-ass season last year. But I will say this. I think Austin Eckler is close to CMC. So if some random person out there had Austin Eckler above Christian McCaffrey, other people might yell at him. I wouldn't be one of those guys because I think Austin Eckler's about to go off again this year. But CMC at 1. Anything to really talk about? Go ahead, Tim.
I want to talk about when it comes to you comparing them to each other. Any of those top 4 or 5 guys, even top 6 guys, can finish as the number 1. They all. That's why you pick them early, because they're league winners. You know what I mean? Even Tony Pollard, you can throw Tony Pollard in there. You know, he came in like number 6 or 7. But I honestly want to move him up above Derrick Henry right now, just because he he's great, and I think he's going to be super explosive this year. But all of those guys can be compared to each other. They can all surpass CMC this year. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yep.
Kraft?
Yeah, one thing to add on to Ian with Tony Pollard, when we were going back talking about our running backs in Dynasty, there was only one running back who finished really high who didn't get 250 touches last year, and that was Tony Pollard, who finished as RB8, which was super impressive. So if he keeps up the efficiency as he did last year and gets he didn't even have over 200 rushing attempts last year. And to put that in perspective, Derrick Henry's sitting at like 340. So if you can get Tony Pollard up to even 280 rushing attempts and he's busting off 5 yards a carry and still catching the ball out of the backfield, he'll be great. I'm still waiting on. I just have a hard time thinking that they're not going to bring somebody in because everything they've said is they want to run the ball more. And, their backfield's pretty small, like stature. So I have a feeling either Zeke's going to come back, Fournette might come in. Somebody, it just don't make much sense to me why they keep saying they want to run the ball more, but don't have any big bodies.
They've said they're going to run the ball more, but not one of their offensive off-season moves have looked like they're headed that direction. Like they're bringing in Brandon Cooks. They're not adding running backs. To me, it's just, I think it's going to really be the same old, even though they did bring in new offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore's out. I would just say they're saying one thing, but they're doing another thing. I don't know if they're really going to be pounding the rock like that.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it either. But to go back up to the top a little bit with the CMC Eckler thing, there was a while where I had Eckler above CMC, but I was just got to thinking that Eckler's never been he's never been over 1,000 yards rushing in his whole entire career, so you can't really rely on that. He is the goal line back, but they did bring in Kellen Moore. They're going to push the ball down the field more. All their receivers were hurt last year, and he was benefiting from that in the receiving game, getting over 100 receptions last year. So that's going to take a bump. As long as them receivers stay healthy, he's not going to catch the ball as much as he did last year. So, and his touchdown numbers have been crazy high the last couple of years. 21 touchdowns one year, 18 touchdowns last year. So, I mean, I told Ian after that 1 year, I said, he's got to have some regression, but it really didn't happen.
And it did, and it didn't show that he was going to regress. And that was what was crazy because you were right. I mean, it's hard to repeat something that spectacular. And he did it, multiple times. And he's poised to do it again, When it comes to running backs for me, like I really like to focus on the offensive line because that has a lot to do with it. Some players, it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, the Chargers come in at number 9 going into the start of the year, ranked offensive line. So he's got a top 10 offensive line again, and he's poised to be great, man. I love me some Austin Eckler, but he's going too high for me right now, man. But later on, we're going to talk about who I think this year's Austin Eckler is for me, because 2 years ago, I drafted him and Joe Mixon like 4th and 5th round or something like that, and they blew up and couldn't draft him again. But there's a few players that I feel like have roles of other players that we drafted later and this, that, and the other, but I'll get into that a little bit later on.
At 3, got Bijan Robinson. I personally got him at 5. No, you guys got him a little bit higher. And to me, Bijan, drafting him in the first round feels really safe because the Falcons are about to run the ball like crazy. Probably going to give him some passing work. I mean, that's really all I can say. Like, I don't think you could really I definitely don't think this pick, Bijan in the first, would lose you your league is pretty much what I'm going to say. I think he's going to go off, and I think his rookie year, he's going to touch the ball so many times. So,
I mean,
I don't mind Bijan being at 3.
When you draft somebody that high, you're going to use the hell out of them. And I like Atlanta's offensive line. I like what they've done in the offseason. And I mean, when I was doing the consensus, Saquon and Bijan were pretty much tied. And that's the way I look at it between them two also. I think the Giants' offense should be better than Atlanta's. If you want to take Saquon over Bijan, that's perfectly fine. But I never shy away from rookie running backs. They always come. Najee Harris was the RB4 when he came in his rookie year. And Zeke, Saquon, great running backs their rookie year. You just got to kind of go with the hype. I don't think you should be one of the guys that are like, oh, Bijan's getting way too much hype. Let me try to be different. Like, rookie running backs perform, especially when they're drafted that high.
Yeah, man, I totally agree, and you're right about getting those rookie running backs on their rookie year. But at the same time, you do still have to be skeptical, and you have to see what kind of player they are, how they hold themselves, and how they talk to the media, and how everybody talks about them, and that a lot of that comes into it for me with fantasy football and which players I take, and some players it doesn't matter what team you're on, but I just really love your personality. Like, I'll give you an example of one. So Amari Cooper is a player I really just don't like his personality. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's a pretty good pick for your wide receiver 1, maybe 2 this year. And I give him the credit, but it's just something, he's just rubbed me wrong in the past and I don't draft him. But Bijan, he checks all the boxes. He checks all the boxes to have a prolific year. And number 7 ranked offensive line. I mean, Algier went in there and dominated. Cordero Patterson's been dominating. Like, whoever the Falcons have running the ball, I want them on my team, especially if it's a Hall of Fame caliber rookie.
Yeah, Algier ran for over 1,000 yards last year. So what'd they do to reward him? They replaced his ass. Saquon, we got him at 4. I got him at 3 above. What you call it, Bijan. But Saquon, hey, just signed that little 1-year deal. Really showed the Giants in the NFL. Dude was really proved the point with that 1-year deal he signed. I'm being sarcastic.
Well, he did prove a point. He proved the point that he just loves playing football and he wants to be on the field. He wants to be out there with his boys, but at the same time, like, he's not going to be taken advantage of.
I mean, I feel like they could just franchise him next year now. I mean, I don't really understand what he was doing with that deal. But regardless, though, Saquon about to go off with the Giants again is what I'm thinking. I mean, the Giants have nobody, really, except for I'm just one of those weird believers in Isaiah Hodgins. I do like me some Hodgins. Been snagging him in best ball down there in the 15th, 16th rounds. But Saquon, I mean, not much to really even say about him. The offense will probably be better this year.
Yeah.
What you think, Ian?
Yeah, man. I think Saquon's a very safe pick. Like I said, I mean, the boy just loves playing football. He's prolific. He's removed from the injury. We've already seen him do good. Let's see. I'm trying to find where the Giants' offensive line stacks up, and it actually is 29th this year. So that's kind of like Josh Jacobs type scenario, but the boy's good, and yeah, I say no fear drafting him.
Right.
Yeah.
Craftman, Saquon.
Yeah, one thing to fight, go against that offensive line is if you catch the ball a lot. And the Giants threw to their running backs at 24% target share last year, so that is the highest in the league, except for the Chargers, obviously, with Austin Eckler last year, the way he did. So the Giants, Daniel Jones, even though he is mobile, he likes to dump the ball off to Saquon and let him go to work, so you don't have to worry about that. He's going to be involved in the passing game. He's going to rush for over 1,000 yards if healthy, and he is the goal line back. So he checks all the boxes, and he's just talented and can break the long run. He's not a plotter. He just like we said with Bijan, he checks all the boxes. And if you take him over Bijan, the only reason that I would is just based on the Giants' offense. I think they're probably going to score more points, and I could see maybe Algier cutting into Bijan at the goal line. I don't see anybody cutting into Saquon's work. at the goal line.
Me either. Plus, I mean, he's got the best quads in the game, so that's just another reason. Okay.
No doubt. All right, next we had Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, big year this year. I'm thinking they didn't draft nobody behind him. So offense going to be way better is what I think. I mean, a lot of people don't think that. They like to hate on Deshaun Watson. I think the offense way better. Nobody drafted behind him. They're going to spread it out. He's probably going to catch the ball more this year. I'm not one of those guys who thinks Nick Chubb can't catch the ball and stuff like that. He can. I think he'll catch more balls. So I don't know, man. Full workload again, Nick Chubb. To me, he's been like, if he I'll put it like this. I've said Nick Chubb is as good, maybe not as good as Derrick Henry, but he's up there in that echelon. If he would get the full load of carries all the time, I think this year he'll probably get a more percentage than any other year while Kareem Hunt ain't there.
Let me ask you this: Where did Nick Chubb play his college ball?
For the nasty ass dogs, man.
And them dogs ran that boy. That boy knows how to run, and he's loves playing football. He's quiet. He's one of them quiet, just stalkers. You know what I mean? He gets out there and he does the damn thing. And I do think he's going to catch more balls, and I think he's going to have a great season. I've been really wanting to get him on my team, and where you're getting him at is a really good price. You know, into the first round, beginning of the second round. If you come out with Nick Chubb down there, it's hard to pick him over people like Saquon and Eckler, obviously, and McCaffrey. But I really think he's going to be great. And the only reason it's hard to pick him over them is because of the passing. But like we said, I mean, I think it's going to be like a couple years ago where everybody was talking about Derrick Henry and the same thing, and they were like, "Oh, passing," and he ended up getting the passing work and balled out, you know, and is now improving on that. And I think this is Nick Chubb's year to progress on that passing work, because nobody can stop him running through the trenches.
And people are definitely high on Nick Chubb this year. Like, I heard one podcast, dude's got him ranked him at 3. I was doing a best ball a couple weeks ago. Somebody took Nick Chubb at the 104.
Yep.
So people are super high on this guy.
Well, one of the main reasons probably people are super high is because they have the number 2 ranked offensive line in the league.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I got a couple stats on him. He only had 68% of the team's rushing attempts last year, which isn't that much. Josh Jacobs had 89% of the Raiders' rushing attempts last year. So Kareem Hunt's gone. Nick Chubb only had 27 receptions last year. That should go up. That's actually less than Derrick Henry last year. So if you're telling me he's going to get 80% of the team's rushing attempts and could get up to 40 receptions this year, I mean, you may be looking at a 2,000 total yards season. And if the Browns take a big step up, I could see Nick Chubb putting up Eckler touchdown numbers at like 18 touchdowns, 16 touchdowns this year. So like Ian said at the beginning of the show, these guys that we're talking about now, they could all finish at number 1.
Right. Well, let's talk about another guy that I think Ian thinks I'm a little bit lower, Derrick Henry, but that's because I've been calling the demise of the Tennessee Titans for a little while. But Derrick Henry, I still love Derrick Henry, and the dude is defying all logic with his, I mean, the dude's just what can I even say about Derrick Henry, dude? Dude's just a bad man. Let me just ask you a dynasty question real quick. You think Derrick Henry's got 2 or 3 more years left in him? It kind of feels like he does.
Yeah, I think he does, actually, man. It's crazy that I say that, but I really do.
I mean,
go ahead.
I think it's going to be based on if he just wants to retire or not more that he's going to decline.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't seem, and you're right, he defies all the odds, dude. He's been playing on that team. And the reason I like him more this year is because they acquired DeAndre Hopkins. And they're not just going to be able to stack the box on Henry again. And also, he's got a pretty easy strength of schedule this year. I think he's like ranked number 3
1
among running backs.
Number 1.
Is it number 1?
Strength of schedule this year, yeah.
Among backs, dude. And if you go back and look, every time he plays a defense that's ranked in the bottom half of the league, he balls out on them boys, man. And then DeAndre Hopkins going to open it up. I mean, Tannehill's a little underrated, but he does enough. Like, he knows the offense doesn't go through him, and he doesn't have to be prolific. You know, he just has to open that shit up for Derrick Henry. And their offensive line is actually terrible. It's ranked among the worst, but he defies the odds, and you can't deny him, and you get him for a good price. He's another one that could possibly, win you the league this year.
Yeah, he's going in like the early to mid second round, and this is a guy that's going to play 6 games against Houston, the Colts, and the Jaguars. And then I think the AFC South plays the NFC South this year. So you got the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, and who's the other one?
Yeah.
And
well, I feel like other than the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, Bucks, those are some solid defenses.
You think those are solid defenses?
I think they're solid. I ain't saying they're nothing special, but yeah.
But that AFC South,
it ain't like
defenses in
Falcons,
AFC South are trash. Jaguars probably the best
agreed.
one.
All right, so we'll recap it. Oh, go ahead. Say what you got to say.
No, I was just saying. Yeah, I was just agreeing. He's got a great schedule.
All right, so just to recap it real quick. Christian McCaffrey 1, Austin Eckler 2, Bijan 3, Saquon 4, Nick Chubb 5, Derrick Henry 6. I'm going to go through our 7 through 12. We got Tony Pollard at 7, Josh Jacobs at 8, 9, Jonathan Taylor, 10, Jahmyr Gibbs, 11, Aaron Jones, 12, Joe Mixon, 7, Tony Pollard. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Y'all made your case about him. Let me just make my case against him because I'm a little bit on Tony Pollard. I'm just, Tony Pollard, I think he had a great year. He was efficient as heck last year. But it's like we said, I don't really think they're going to be running the ball a lot. We've never seen him for a full season beat a 3-down back, even though they got nobody back there. I still imagine Zeke, like Crab says, Zeke or somebody's going to come back in. But even then, I got him at 10. It ain't like I got him super low. So Tony Pollard, I don't know, man. It's funny because I was always higher on Tony Pollard when he was low, but now at this price, I'm like, dang, I don't really want him. Because where's he going at ADP right now?
He's going at the start of the second round, mid second, right there with Henry. He could possibly fall all the way to the back of the second, coming back to the number 1 pick, but most of the time he's not going to make it there. But I got the perfect comp for Tony Pollard. It's Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones in his past. He's always been efficient. If Tony Pollard gets the goal line work, he's going to finish in the top 10 running backs. If he can get the goal line work, I don't know if his efficiency is going to be as good as it was last year. 5.2 a carry, straight up incredible. And yards per reception at 9.5 yards per reception. I mean, Ramondre, just to put it in perspective, Ramondre, who's a good pass catcher, was at 6 yards per reception. So, the efficiency is probably going to go down. I mean, he was just busting big play after big play, but if he's going to get the goal line work, it doesn't even matter to me. And just more opportunity.
Let me ask you this.
On the ground.
Tell me this, Austin. What was Josh Jacobs' yards per reception last year?
Josh Jacobs' yards per reception was 7.5.
I think that's very doable for Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard is our Josh Jacobs this year. Somebody that everybody's a little skeptical about, but everything is poised for him to break out. I mean, he's been there. He's been on the team. He's actually kind of a veteran. And every time we see him run the ball, every time he's out there, we're like, why are y'all putting Zeke back in? Leave Tony. Leave Tony. We've been saying it. So I don't understand why anybody is sleeping. And honestly, Tony is probably a top 5 running back in this league. If that offense can fucking do it, I mean, they got the Dallas offensive line ranked at number 6, dude.
Yeah.
And if they stay healthy, and he's just a great back that from the eye test, every time I see him get the ball, he just wants it. He wants to keep going and keep going. And I'm big on Tony this year, dude. I really want him in Dynasty.
See, I got him at 10, so I ain't like burying the guy, but I mean, our consensus got him at 7, so we got him ahead of Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Those are two guys I just can't draft. Tony Pollard over those guys.
Yeah.
But not that I'm hating on Tony Pollard. Hell, Tony Pollard's good as fuck. I honestly agree with everything y'all are saying. If there was one that I would be wrong with, it might be Tony Pollard. He's another guy. He could definitely finish as the RB1. Definitely got to put him in that list.
If they don't bring in a bigger back to take the goal line work.
Right, and that's yeah.
And they haven't so far.
Yeah,
so.
If it stays the way it is, he might jump up a little higher in my rankings. So I think I got Jacobs over him right now, but he'll definitely jump over Jacobs if they don't bring anybody else in.
All right.
And the only reason Jacobs is down so far is because we're unsure about what he's doing. Where is he at?
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and talk about him. Josh Jacobs, we got him at 8, and that would be my main question. Listen, I was texting Kraft a little bit earlier. I said something to him, but I made a statement. I don't think any of these running backs are sitting out. Not a one of them. But if there was one, I do think it could be Josh Jacobs. He seems the most disgruntled out of all of them, and he says he wants to be a Raider, but he wants to be a Raider if they're gonna make moves to try to win a Super Bowl. And I just think getting rid of Derek Carr, bringing in Jimmy G, that don't really sound like a move that you're trying to go win a Super Bowl. So I think Josh Jacobs feels a little, I don't know. You know how all these running backs are disgruntled. But with that said, I got Josh Jacobs, me personally, I got him at 9. We got him at 8. Josh Jacobs was, I mean, heck, this whole last year I was saying in Dynasty, you might as well sell him. It ain't going to get better than this. Sell him, sell him, sell him. The motherfucker went off the whole season. He finishes like the RB2 or something like that. And now I look at Josh Jacobs way different. Like, he's only 25 years old, something like that. You know, Josh Jacobs is a beast.
Yeah, he definitely is, man. But he is on a bad team, and he still produces, just like Saquon Barkley. And he has a right to hold out like he is, because they are shitting on running backs right now, and it kind of pisses me off a little bit, because there's not another team that has made it to the playoffs or the Super Bowl that doesn't have an established run game, whether it be a committee or not. You know what I mean? And there's a lot that plays off the run, dude, and these running backs need to get paid. But that's beside the point. They love playing football, and they know they don't have a long lifespan. But Josh Jacobs is a good runner, and if he stays at the Raiders, he's going to be a top 10 running back. And if he goes anywhere else, he's probably going to have a better team and a better situation, and he'll probably finish better. But yeah, I mean, I like Josh Jacobs, and I think he's still in his prime, and he wants to get paid like that. But I mean, like you said earlier, I don't think they're going to hold out, because look what happened to Le'Veon, and it never really tends to pay out. You know what I mean?
No.
But
agreed.
Yeah, I think
you got to know what you're worth.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on Jacobs. I do think he'll end up playing, but you know, one thing I've noticed about all these running backs that we've talked about so far in the top 8, they all play for average to really good teams. There's not any of these running backs that we've mentioned so far that play for shitty teams. So you just want the guys who the offense can move the ball. I don't think the Raiders are going to be great, but I don't think they're going to be the worst on offense. They're not going to be like the Texans or the Panthers, or one of them bottom half offenses. So you don't necessarily need the best offense in the league to produce, but they're going to run Josh Jacobs in the dirt, and that's all. I mean, for redraft, that's what you want. Opportunity. You hear it all the time. In Dynasty, you want talent over opportunity. In redraft, you want opportunity over talent, because it's just 1 year. You just want the most work possible.
All right, so at 9 we have Jonathan Taylor, and look, Jonathan Taylor, I'll put it like this. when I was thinking about redraft rankings, I was thinking I'm faded Jonathan Taylor this year. I'm not really buying into what the Colts are doing or any of that crap. But now, like it's like I sent you a text earlier. I've drafted Jonathan Taylor in the back second in best ball twice now. I heard one guy sent me a comment on the bird on Twitter, said that he got Jonathan Taylor in the middle of the third round. So now all of a sudden I'm looking at it like this: if you can get Jonathan Taylor in the back of the second, that's a must draft in my opinion. Like that doesn't really even. I don't really know what the deal is with his situation. I've been on vacation and shit, but I know he's got a whole year left on his deal. Jonathan Taylor, I was fading as like a top 4 or 5 pick, but if you can get Jonathan Taylor in the back of the second round, that's automatic for me.
Yeah, I'm a little against drafting players that I've just been burned in the past. I drafted Le'Veon Bell when it was his situation where I was like, he'll play. Wasted a second round or not, probably a first round pick on him, and I got nothing. You know, if you could tell me take the risk on Jonathan Taylor or just draft, somebody else, because Jonathan Taylor in ADP is still going higher than Tony Pollard. As far as it probably will drop based on the news, and by the time late August comes around, it might change. But I'm not taking the risk. But like Matt said, you can get him the third round. That becomes like early third. That becomes really interesting.
Must have. Yeah, dude.
I'll do a quick.
Go ahead.
If you draft CMC in the first and then get Jonathan Taylor in the second, you're stacked, bro. At running back, you're super stacked. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean that's for sure. If you can get CMC at the 1-1 and then Jonathan Taylor at the 2-12, yeah. I mean that's awesome, but that's not gonna happen. But the thing about Jonathan Taylor is I think he's 1 year from being elite Jonathan Taylor again. I think they still have a couple things they have to figure out with the Richardson situation. Their offensive line is not quite as good. He used to run through Quentin Nelson, who was kind of injured last year and it kind of fell apart. And I think they need this year to kind of rebuild a little bit and get him back to being able to be his elite self. I don't think it's quite there, but I think towards the end of the year, the last 5-6 games, they're really going to start putting shit together. But he is a discount and he's coming down, into the first, beginning of the second, but I'm still not drafting him over Pollard or Henry right now. Jacobs is questionable.
So you're saying he could fall to the back of the second?
He could fall to the beginning of the second, but maybe middle of the second. But I don't think you're going to get him at the 112 or the 212.
Well, his current ADP though, Matt, on Sleeper right now, before the injury, and I got him ranked based on I think he's going to play for the Colts all year. He's going ahead. He's going at the 11. ADP 11, going before Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Pollard right now.
Ooh.
And you got Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, that's
as
tough.
much as we don't like him. He's going to steal goal line work. He's not going to throw to the running backs as much as Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz. And, I mean, Tony Pollard, John.
I don't think they're going to start Richardson.
They could have like a 1,300
if they start Richardson. We're going to talk about Richardson, right? If they start Richardson this year, that's immature because he's immature. He's young. I think he needs to get first team snaps and first team reps, and they need to give him as many reps as possible because he is their franchise guy. But I think starting him this year is not a good idea.
Well, you just said he needs first team reps.
He does in training camp and in preseason, but I don't think you need to start the season with him. I mean, he's still young, and I actually watched the video. BDGE, Big Dog's Got to Eat. Shout out to my boy Nick. He said he was like for every Anthony Richardson video highlight that you see, he was like, I'll show you 10 tweets that say different, and he literally did. He put up 10 tweets that were like Anthony Richardson had struggles today, you know, but we're hopeful for the future. And it wasn't all like terrible stuff, but it was just confirming that he's still a very young quarterback in the NFL and he still needs to develop a little more. And I think he needs some of the Jordan Love treatment, and that's why I think we'll talk about Jordan Love on a different note, but you know, playing behind somebody that's a veteran it makes a better quarterback than throwing them to the wolves and hoping they survive. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but the NFL is an animal, and it will eat you.
Well, basically, we fading all Colts at this point. I mean, I've been fading them all
This year.
the whole way. I mean, I'm not even a believer in Anthony Richardson, period. So I don't really. I'm not saying Anthony Richardson can't get some rushing yards and have a solid rookie year or whatever, but these weapons ain't about to do nothing. And Jonathan Taylor, like, I wasn't drafting him as a top 4 guy. I'm just saying at his price right now, I'm just saying I feel like you got to take him. But
and I don't like that Jonathan Taylor's trying to jump ship when he feels like the team is bad. Like, I like the players that want to stick around and be part of the rebuild. You know what I mean? Like jumping ship. But at the same time, I guess his body is at the point where he's at his prime and he needs to get in some good years.
I don't think he's trying to jump ship. I think it's just a ploy to get more money. I mean,
I think it's a contract thing.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he wants to get traded. I think he just said that because he's not in a franchise tag year. He's still on his contract. Somebody has to pick it up. Right. So they're going to have to either, restructure his contract or promise him something long term, or
so he should be on. So he should be on that last year, Josh Jacobs, because Austin, I always say this. I want the running back that's on the last year of their contract because they're fighting for a job.
That's changed now.
Yeah, but the thing is, how many years has Jonathan Taylor been in the league? Because they'll definitely pick up. Did he go in the first round?
They can ride out his contract this year and franchise tag him 2 years straight. They have 3 years with Jonathan Taylor if they want to do it that way.
Right. But if this is his 4th year, that team's definitely got a 5th-year option. And then they can franchise him 2 more times. That's the thing about Josh Jacobs. They declined his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
And then decided to franchise
I feel like
him.
They need to get rid of the franchise tag. I don't know exactly what it is.
I would agree with you.
I need to do some research on that franchise tag, but I feel like I don't like it.
At 10, we got Jahmyr Gibbs, and we've been high on Jahmyr Gibbs.
Player.
I mean, the dude got drafted number 12 overall. You've been talking about rookies going off. When he went to the Detroit Lions, I was like, sheesh. I mean, I can see this one working out.
Did Williams get last year? I mean,
I'll put it like this. I'll view it like this. DeAndre Swift put together some solid seasons. He was real efficient, and this guy jumped up there to be a top 5 dynasty running back for like 2 or 3 years, and he wasn't even getting all the work. I think this is going to be a little bit different. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a whole lot more work than what DeAndre Swift was getting. They didn't even like DeAndre Swift. One of those dogs that are soft, I guess. So they had to go get them a Roll Tide Alabama boy and got old Jahmyr Gibbs. But I'm just playing around with all that. But for real, Jahmyr Gibbs, I've seen him. The eye test is enough for me. I don't even have to go look at analytics or any of that stuff. Jared Goff is going to be checking it out to Jahmyr Gibbs. I still think he's going to be in a split with David Montgomery. I think we all believe that. But there's some people out there thinking this dude's about to get like every carry, every catch. Like, that ain't happening. But
no.
He's going to be efficient. He's going to be good. He'll probably still get goal line carries. I just love everything about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, I was just looking back at some of our running backs that have received as much work as I predict him to get. And back in 2019, I just went back. Austin Eckler had 550 rushing yards. That's it. But he had, he had 11 total touchdowns and 900 receiving yards. Finished as the RB4. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, if you think that it's possible he can get close to that number, let's say maybe 8 touchdowns on the year, 800 receiving yards or something like that, he's not going to finish outside of the top 10. And he's going to get 500 rushing yards. He's not going to get a whole lot of work between the tackles, but he'll receive about 100 to 150 carries this year because he's explosive. He's only 200 pounds, but so is Austin Eckler. So I don't see Jahmyr Gibbs. There's no way he can finish as the RB1 just based on the goal line work. But if you're saying he's just got a high floor to me, that's and they're all the reports out of camp's been great. They're keeping him and Montgomery on the field at the same time. They're probably going to run him out of the slot, Christian McCaffrey-esque. So it's just a safe pick. And to the moon with Jahmyr Gibbs. We're all high on Jahmyr Gibbs.
So you remember earlier in the video where I said, or recorded where I said we're going to talk about this year's Austin Eckler?
Yep.
This is it.
We have arrived.
The first round version.
And so, like you said, I mean, he's not going to get the work between the tackles. But if you draft Nick Chubb in the first round, a few other people, and get Jahmyr Gibbs, you got the perfect 1-2 punch. You got your PPR going to get all the passes you can fucking give him, Jahmyr Gibbs. Plus, he's also, you don't know what he's going to do running the ball. You know, like you said, I mean, at least 500. And I think he can have that, a 1,400-yard season, 900 passing. And, I mean, look at Detroit. I mean, they got a great offensive line. And, I think he's this year's Eckler from a few years ago that you weren't too sure about because he had just came off running behind, I can't remember who it was, but
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon, that's right. But for a couple years, you were like, man, I wish they would put Eckler in, just like we say with Pollard. Like, damn, they just need to do fucking Pollard. Like, just put him in, and he's boom, this is happening. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to come in and automatically do that. And the main thing that tells me that is they drafted him in the first round, dude.
Where do you have him ranked? Where you got him ranked?
You had DeAndre Swift and you had Jamal Williams, and you still drafted Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Well, they were gone. Well, I guess Swift wasn't gone.
No, yeah.
Well, hold on. But where you got him ranked though? You're talking he could be the next Eckler. How high you got him in?
I got him at number 8.
That's pretty spicy, I'd say.
I mean, I got him just under Tony Pollard.
Dang. All right. I like that. I like Ian coming in hot.
I got him above
Jonathan
Taylor, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, Mixon Jones. I got him.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. So, all right. Well, we the Jahmyr Gibbs pod too.
We know talent when we see it. And
exactly.
Hey, he's from Alabama, and
the SEC is
Alabama's SEC. If you can run the ball with the SEC,
don't know.
You're a bad motherfucker.
I don't know. DeAndre Swift. Sony Michel ain't looking too hot right now, man. I had to retire.
If DeAndre Swift,
you better not say the SEC is not the best.
I can say that they're the best, but I'll say not every single year. I'll go through that. I've lived in this world for 29 years. They ain't been the best every year. That would be crazy. That's that liberal propaganda right there. But hold on. Let's move on, man. You can. I could be talking about the SEC and that ESPN little connection all day.
I do have one thing to say though about Jahmyr Gibbs. As much as we hate on DeAndre Swift because he's been injured so much, in full PPR he was averaging 13.7 points per game. So he was fine when he was on the field. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a much.
They just didn't want to play him.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is a much more explosive. What did he run, like a 4.3 40? And
it was crazy.
And he's just more.
And he's in that rookies that you want to draft scenario too. You know what I mean? Like coming off a great year in college.
Him and Bijan are pretty much the only two rookies I think that are going high this go round. I think. Right.
For sure. Because everybody else went to committees, dude. It was crazy.
That's right. All right. So 11, we got the craft man's guy. We got Aaron Jones. I think all of us are high on Aaron Jones. I think I'm a little bit lower, but Aaron Jones is a perfect veteran running back that I want to go get in Dynasty for my championship years. But Aaron Jones,
Yeah.
About to be playing with Jordan Love. I think the offense. Well, see, I was about to say the offense might not be as good, but it really wasn't that good last year. So, but I still think Jordan Love's gonna be dishing him the ball. I think AJ Dillon's in play still this year too.
Yeah.
These guys right here are gonna get work. Aaron Jones, I could see him finishing in the top 12. I could see him, just being a top
Yeah.
20 guy. I mean, his floor feels safe to me.
Yeah. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has finished in the green multiple years and most of his career. He's very slept on a lot of times. And the only reason I got Mixon above him is because of AJ Dillon. Because from the Green Bay standpoint, you want both running backs. You don't want to beat your guy down, but from a fantasy standpoint, you know, you don't want somebody stealing your carries or your touchdowns. But I really like both of those running backs. But yeah, Aaron Jones is a veteran that it's hard to put him down. You really want to because you feel like Dylan's gonna take it, but until he proves me wrong, I got to keep him up here.
Craftman, talk about your boy real quick.
Yeah, the RB9 from last year with only 2 rushing touchdowns. That's Aaron Jones. So we got him ranked.
What?
We got him ranked at what was the consensus? Where we have 11?
What?
We got him at 11. I got him at 15 personally.
Yeah. He had 2
rushing touchdowns. He did have 5 receiving, so 7 total. So
Okay.
but AJ Dillon is definitely the goal line back. There's no doubt about it. But he averaged, we were talking about Tony Pollard, how explosive he is at 5.2 a carry. Aaron Jones at 28 years old, averaged 5.3 a carry. Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, and Khalil Herbert were the best rushers in the league at yards per carry. So
dang,
you're not taking Aaron Jones off the field. AJ Dillon, he's okay. Aaron Jones is 10 times better. He's more explosive. And he can 2 rushing touchdowns is going to be his low. Even if AJ Dillon is the goal line back, I could still see like I said, he had 7 total last year. I could definitely see at least 7.
AJ Dillon sure is cheap though, man.
He is cheap.
yeah.
But the consistency is there. He's done it year after year. So
yeah.
Yeah, Kraft. Why draft Aaron Jones in the 4th when you could get AJ Dillon in the 11th?
Yeah, Kraft, prove it to me. Why?
Because because he is better. And
he is. I mean, he's a great running back, and he gets slept on all the time. But it's going to be interesting to see him without Aaron Rodgers, dude, and see if he can still maintain that. So that's the main reason I think I'm kind of don't want him as like my RB1 is because I don't know if he can maintain without Aaron.
Young quarterbacks that are running backs even more.
Right.
That's right.
I'm with you on that. I can't wait to just see the Packers in general. I'm ready to see what it looks like. I'm ready to see those young receivers.
Just to chime in, the number 8 ranked offensive line. So
Packers, I know this ain't a gambling episode, but they're like 3rd or 4th on the odds. I feel like that's some good money to place right there to win the division. Next we got Joe Mixon. Look, I'm fading Joe Mixon out the motherfucking waters, man. I said this. I've said it a few times. I've thought it all year. I don't think people realize how bad players like Joe Mixon and Alvin Kamara were last year. These guys, I ain't even gonna talk about Kamara. These guys had 1 game with 5 touchdowns. Joe Mixon specifically had 1 game with 5 touchdowns. This dude was not good.
Yep.
But I'll put it like this: I can't sit here and fade him super crazy and drop him way out because they didn't draft nobody behind him. Here they are again. The Bengals are going to be good. Joe Mixon, he's not sorry, but he just wasn't good last year. There's a lot of guys I'll take. We're going to talk about like my guy Miles Sanders later. I'm taking him over Joe Mixon every day of the week, and I'm not even thinking about it twice.
No.
Joe Mixon was not that good last year. I don't think he's going to be good this
year. What
do
you mean by not that good? Like, is a top 10 running back not that good?
Yeah.
That's his finishing, but it's all take that 1 game out. Where is he? Is he in the top 20?
But that doesn't matter though. That 1 game, he did have 5 touchdowns, but he only had 9 total touchdowns on the year. Do you think he's not going to get 9 this year without P-Ron there?
Well, let me ask you this, Kraft. when you had Joe Mixon on your team last year, does he feel like a top 10 running back on your team last year?
I mean, he does.
I would say it can't even be close.
He doesn't, but
this dude's
he
got.
doesn't, but he was. Does Leonard Fournette feel like he was the top 12? Because he was.
No. Well, I'm not going to look at
Exactly.
a season-ending stat when you could just look at stretches and be like, "Dang, this dude went through stretches where he was
But
not
you know
that
what?
good."
Joe Mixon also played Dallas, Baltimore, New Orleans. He played a bunch of these really, really difficult defenses last year. Like, he didn't have a very easy schedule. And Mixon is getting up there, and I mean, he's 27 years old, been in the league 6 years, but he's the bell cow on a great team that's going to score a lot of touchdowns. He's going to get the opportunities. He's going to get 20 carries a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's besides whether or not he's in the top 10 or not, like, he's on a great offense that he's not going to get stacked boxes, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities. So,
but I feel like you could say the same for him last year. And that didn't really
and
come
he
into
finished
fruition last
They
year.
had P-Ryan last year.
He finished as the RB10. But I mean, just look at it right now.
With
Just
a
look at his
60
game
point
log. Does that game log look
That
impressive?
depth chart.
he finished. Yeah, I mean, he's got multiple games over 12 points per game, and if
That's it.
but you're not
He's a
drafting
top
him
10
as
guy.
an RB1. You drafting him as an RB2. If my RB2 gets me 12 points a game, I'm totally cool with that.
He finished as a top 10 guy, though.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, say without that game, he's in the top 15 still.
So you're telling me you drafted Joe Mixon last year, and where was he going? He was going like what, in the back of the first? He's going in the back of the first.
Well,
you felt good
we're not
about Joe
talking
Mixon?
about last year.
That's
We're talking
good.
about this year. He's going as the RB17 this year.
Who's he going
That is
ahead
his
of?
floor.
Who's he?
RB17.
If he didn't have that 5 touchdown game,
he's going ahead of people like Kamara, Dobbins, Sanders, Pierce, Akers.
That's crazy.
That's not crazy. I would take none of them guys. That's not even close.
I take 3 or 4 of them guys.
You gonna take Damian Pierce on the Houston Texans over the starting running back?
What?
Over the starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals with no depth behind them?
And they're going to make it to the playoffs.
But all right, well, that's just the playoffs. I don't play fantasy in the playoffs.
But what I'm saying is they're gonna be good enough. They're gonna be a good team, and he's gonna get a lot of garbage time. Like, they're gonna blow a bunch of motherfuckers out.
Well, this is what I was just saying.
45 touchdowns this year, bro.
What's on the upside of Joe Mixon is he's going to run it back and do it again, and there's no Samaje Perine. But if you're telling me you're looking at him last year and you're satisfied saying, okay, I'm going to go draft him again because he was good last year. So, all right, but we watched him play last year.
He wasn't good last year. He wasn't great last year.
Well, he's about to do it again. He's got another year on his age. Another year of it, and here we are.
And I think he's right there around Aaron Jones and J.K.
Yep.
Honestly, I want to put J.K. Dobbins a little higher, but Lamar Jackson likes to run the ball and not throw it. So
let's go with where we got him ranked. I got Joe Mixon at RB12 right behind Aaron Jones. Where do you got him at?
I got him at 19.
What about you, Ian?
I got Joe Mixon I got him at 12.
Same as me. His ADP is RB17, so you're not that far down on him according to ADP, Matt. You're only 2 spots down, but me and Ian, I guess we're the ones that have to explain ourselves a little more than you because we're 7 spots higher.
I just think you have to pay attention to, like, I know you guys are saying he finished as a top 10 guy, but he scored 50 fantasy points in one of those games. Like, that's not exactly normal. 58 fantasy points.
That's not normal.
But if you want to talk about like an outlier game or whatever, there's your outlier game right there. Like, the dude had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, dude, but who's to say he can't do that again this year?
So you're willing to draft him in the top 12 so you can get one 50-point game? I don't know if I'm doing that.
Who are you taking over him, Matt?
Shoot, I'm taking Najee, Rashad White, Jacob
Rashad
Dobbins,
White?
Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Brees Hall,
Let's
Jameer
go.
Gibbs.
Let's
I
go
mean, there's
back
a
to
lot of
Rashad
guys.
White. You're taking
ETN.
Rashad White over Joe Mixon.
Yeah, big time. I'm gonna give me the guy who's gonna catch the ball 60 plus times this
Joe
year.
Mixon will catch
Joe
the
Mixon
ball
ain't
60 plus times. He had 75 targets last year.
how many catch?
60.
Oh, all right then. Well, you win that point.
But
But I'm just gonna tell you this.
yeah,
I'm just
had a
talking about
great
fantasy
quarterback
points.
catching the ball.
We can look at all his stats and everything. I'm just saying, if you look at all his games, the dude wasn't doing that much last year. He had one game where he scored 58 points. If he
I
doesn't
know.
have a
But you're
58
stuck
point
on that.
game,
You're stuck on that. You're stuck on last year. We're talking about this year.
we ain't even played a game this year. I'm just
I
telling you
know.
what I saw last
Name
year,
the backup.
and I'm
Name
just
the
saying,
backup running back for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Chase Brown, who we love to film,
We like the film,
we was liking it.
but name the guy who's
Hey,
making
man,
name the
we-
guy who's making like $12
That's
million
like
guys now.
this year.
That's like saying Jerome Ford's going to take touches from Nick Chubb.
I'm not saying Chase is going to take any. I'm just saying Joe Mixon he was not that good last year. Nick Chubb is still a great running back.
Yeah,
We're not
but he was
acting like
great.
Dick.
He was great the year before, and he was also.
That's 2 years ago. Y'all don't even like me talking about last year. You talking about 2 years ago now? We're just going to have to agree to disagree on Joe Mixon tonight, fellas.
It's opportunity based, man. I'm not sitting here arguing with you saying that Joe Mixon is one of the best talented running backs, but he checks the box. Great offense,
He's an
opportunity,
RB2.
goal
He's an
line
RB2.
work, receiving work. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want from your running
I'll
backs?
put it like, it's like the same thing. Like, if you had Mike Evans last year, do you feel happy having Mike Evans last year? No,
Not as
not
my
really.
wide receiver one.
But here we go, Joe Mixon. I mean, it's pretty much something like that.
Well, you can get him as an RB.
I mean, that one
get him as
game,
an RB17. That's a back end RB2. You don't want Joe Mixon as a back end RB2? You don't think he has RB1 upside at all?
I mean, yeah, back in RB2. I got him at 19,
Okay,
so I
that's
got
all
him
we're
at
trying to
MVP.
say.
You guys got him at 12. You got him as a back end RB1. I got him as a back end RB2.
And he's gonna
We're way
finish as a
different.
back. He's gonna finish as a. He's gonna.
He'll
It's
be
just-
just fine. Don't
I
worry
think
about
you guys got to think about on the rankings. Like I got him as a back end RB2. Y'all got him as a back end RB1.
Which he is.
We're
I mean,
we're
he's.
way off.
Dude,
Hey,
you got to think he's the bell cow back on an amazing offense, bro. They're gonna score a lot of touchdowns. He's gonna get opportunity. Fantasy football is all about opportunity. We don't focus on how many this, that, and the other. We focus on how many times. Well, me, anyways. I focus on how many times your snap count and your targets or your carries. You know what I mean? That's the main thing you
Right.
want to focus on. Doesn't matter how many yards you get. Doesn't matter how many touchdowns you score. If you get 60 fucking targets and you get 20 carries, dude.
Dude, he finished.
He had
He finished
all that
fourth
last
in the.
year.
He finished fourth in the entire league in red zone attempts from the 5-yard line in. That's above Derrick Henry,
They
above
what?
Saquon Barkley, above Miles Sanders, ETN, above McCaffrey. He's gonna be the goal line guy, and he scored. Even with that 5 touchdown game, he scored 9 touchdowns last year. You don't think he's gonna get up to maybe 12, 15 touchdowns this year?
I don't know, man.
I do.
I don't
We'll see.
know.
We'll
Dude
see.
didn't exactly pass the eye test last year. I'm an eye test kind of guy.
That's the dynasty outlet, man.
All right.
That's the dynasty outlet. Like I said, talent over opportunity and dynasty.
Hey, man. ADP agrees with me. It's closer to me. Y'all a little high on this old
We'll
man.
see at the end.
All right. Well, that's a good
We'll
one.
see who wins. We'll see who wins more championships. How about that?
That's a good one right there. We'll have
I
to
mean,
remember that
fantasy
Joe Mixon
football
take.
championships is what I'm talking about.
All right. So that's one that we finally really and truly disagreed on right there.
Me and Austin already got one. How many you got?
I got you talking about championships on what?
I'm talking about fantasy football championships.
I've only been in the league with y'all 1 year. Who won that?
I'm
Nick
not
Blower.
talking about. I'm talking about
Wait,
how many you got and all.
I got none, man.
I got 3,
Okay.
baby.
Hold on. I've only been playing for 2 years.
Hey,
You know what's funny? I used to play with Kraft back in but I never set my lineup. That's what's funny is we had this home league And we have two eras. We got the dynasty era, and then we got the era where we used to draft and nobody set lineups, and then like two people would play.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
y'all
let's
ready?
go.
Joe Mix is the
Let's
one
go.
we disagree on the most.
So far.
But
I
I got
like it.
another.
So far.
We got another one hopping up. So let me recap it real quick. Tony Pollard at 7, Josh Jacobs 8, Jonathan Taylor 9, Jameer Gibbs 10, Aaron Jones 11, Joe Mixon 12. Ramondre
Hey, Matt,
at 13.
got a question for you. You want to break this episode up into 2?
That's up to you, big dog. We
Don't
can.
matter to me.
I mean, it's up to y'all,
Let's
really.
roll.
What's
Let's
that
just
mean?
roll. Let's just roll.
Let's just roll it. Fuck it. 13, we
You're
got
right.
Ramondre. 14, Najee Harris. 15, ETN. 16, J.K. Dobbins. 17, Brees Hall. 18, Miles Sanders. So we'll just go ahead and start it off hot again. We just got off the Joe Mixon debate. I'm about to open up the Ramondre Stevenson debate right here at 13. And what did you guys say? Opportunity this, opportunity that. The Patriots ain't got shit. They ain't got nobody except for Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not buying Juju. I'm not buying any of them guys. Ramondre Stevenson this year, I got him ranked at number 6. Number 6. I will take Ramondre all day. And this is all I'm going to say. The Patriots, they got shit. They brought not Bill Belichick, Brian Billick. They brought him in. The offense should get better, giving Mac Jones the actual offensive coordinator. Ramondre Stevenson was all good last year, except for he had one little thing where he's like fumbling balls at the motherfucking goal
And
line.
you play for Bill Belichick.
And he still finished where?
Yeah. He
Very
finishes
high.
RB7.
Very high. And the dude's fumbling all over the place at the goal line. So all I'm saying is if he shores that up this year, I mean, they're talking about bringing other guys in. Does Leonard Fournette really scare me? No. Does Zeke scare me? No. Who else are they really going to bring in? Honestly, Damian Harris last year. Damian Harris last year was better than pretty much all of those guys. And Ramondre held him off. Ramondre is going to be better than Pierre Strong and all them. They got no wide receivers. This is easy for me. Ramondre Stevenson, I'm drafting him as high as possible.
From a dynasty standpoint, Ramondre is a great player, but
well, see, that's where I'm different. I'm lower on him on the dynasty. I'm higher on him in redraft. I'm not high on him in dynasty at all.
If we go back to the history of the Patriots running backs, man, it doesn't look good for him, and that's the main thing why I dropped him lower, because he did have a breakout year, and so did Danny Woodhead. You know what I mean? Or so did Rex Burkhead is what I meant. You know what I mean? But
they both did, I think.
So did LeGarrette Blount.
Exactly, but they never have sustainability. So
what's it look like this year? They didn't even bring anybody in.
They
hit the draft. It looks good. That's why I got him at 18.
But what I'm saying is, if you're bringing somebody in now, what's he really going to do at this point?
Still all the goal line work from the guy who fumbles and only scored 2 touchdowns on 12 carries.
And it's like I said, he was fumbling at the goal line last year and finished as the RB7. So that could be the same old shit for all we know. He might not get any carries.
Now, Stevenson is good, and I feel like he is the superstar on that team right now. Until Mac Jones really establishes himself. But when it comes to the Patriots, they always have that kind of team. Like, they never really have an established that superstar guy. You know what I mean? And you always want a player on that team because you always want the running back on that team because they like to run the ball and they know that running the ball opens up the pass. But at the same time, they never really feed one guy. And that's the only thing that scares me about Ramondre. Like, he did great last year, and I want to get him, but I need to see it again. I got to see it again.
Yeah, that's what scares me the most too, Ian, is the Patriots. They put guys out there. They have a role. You know, their motto is "Do your job," and they have a role for everybody. If they bring Fournette in or Zeke, their role is going to be the goal line back. Even though Ty Montgomery ain't great, we've been hearing a whole bunch of shit about him playing on third down.
Oh, hell no.
Ramondre is going to be a guy who's going to be playing a lot in between the 20s. He's going to get a lot of rushing yards. He's not a prolific pass catcher. He's good. but they have a role set for somebody to do that. James White did it for years. Nobody thought James White was a crazy good athlete, but he was very good at his one job. And the goal line work scares me the most with Ramondre. They done brought in Fournette, what's his name, Darrell Henderson, Ezekiel Elliott. They're trying to get they've been in talks with Dalvin Cook. They're trying to bring somebody in.
He would be the only one. If Dalvin Cook came, I'd drop him a little bit. But those other guys, man, taking goal line work when he wasn't really doing nothing at the goal line, anyways. I mean, that just doesn't really even.
But he had 59 or 69 receptions last year. Do you think that's
a lot of balls?
That's going to happen again?
And you got to understand, at the first half of the year, him and Damian Harris were in a split. And then eventually Damian Harris got hurt.
As usual.
Yeah. So
I like Ramondre's talent.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you give this man you give him a full year.
Yeah. No, I like
pretty good.
I like and I think if he is that established guy in that offense and they do give him the workload he can handle and that he deserves and he can do, he will produce and he will be up there, but I got to see it. You know what I mean? The Patriots have proved me wrong time and time again about running back. So,
and look, I do agree with y'all about know your role and all that stuff. And I was with in Dynasty, I don't really have him ranked that high, but that we're talking about know your role, and they picked up nobody in the draft, and now they're still. I mean, the season's a month away. They're still looking for a running back. I don't know, man. That know your role. It looks like Ramondre has a role. Now, I mean, I like the guys. Here's the thing, though. They did draft 2 running backs just last year. Maybe one of them can jump up in there. I'd be more worried about those guys than Fournette or Zeke, unless it's Dalvin. I feel like Dalvin's got a little bit of talent. He'd go in there and ruin some shit up.
I kind of disagree with the Pierre Strong. I'm more worried about somebody coming in and just being the goal line guy because, I mean, this is probably the one I could be most wrong on because I like the talent. I have nothing against Ramondre. I think he's just badass. He really is. I like watching him play.
He really is.
But this is one of them guys that has a higher ceiling.
Belichick.
He does have a higher ceiling than the guys we've been talking about, though. I will give Matt that. He got a higher ceiling than Aaron Jones and probably Joe Mixon and probably and Jahmyr Gibbs. Really, if he receives all the work like Matt is projecting, which nothing against Matt for projecting that. I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
No offense.
Yeah, no offense.
But everything coming out of the Detroit clubhouse is saying that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to receive all that work. Everything coming out of the Patriots history and out of the clubhouse isn't necessarily telling me that Ramondre is. I mean, yeah, they didn't draft somebody this, that, and the other, but Belichick is that dude that will just, if you do one thing wrong, you're fucked. And it's hard to fucking take him. I'll take him in Dynasty because he's a great talent.
Dang. That's where I'm opposite of you. I would rather ditch
I'll
him
take
in Dynasty
because he's a great talent, and if he does make it there, it'll be great. But I feel like he can make it anywhere. Yeah. But this year, I don't think this year is his year.
I think y'all are probably closer on ADP on this one. So, Joe Mixon, I was closer on ADP. Ramondre, y'all are closer on ADP.
You're still closer, I think. I got Ramondre at RB13. Where you got him at, Ian?
18.
Jeez. And you got him where?
And y'all are so hyped about the RB10, but can't show love to the RB7. Crazy.
I got Pierce over.
He's going as the RB. He's going as the RB11. I got him at 13. Ian's got him at 18. You got him at 6.
That's spicy. That's
unapologetically have Damian Pierce over Ramondre Stevenson.
That's super spicy. And I like Damian Pierce more than the average guy. But all right, next we got Najee Harris at 14. Y'all know how I feel about Najee, or at least Kraft does.
I like Najee.
I think Najee's just a fine running back, but I'm not really into metrics. But the dude's inefficient. He's not going to catch. This is what I think people need to get through their heads. Ben Roethlisberger ain't there, and the dude's not about to get 100 targets or whatever ever again. Those days are done. Those days of him being a top 5 dynasty guy are for sure done. I'm not even a Kenny Pickett hater, but we got to see what that offense is going to do. I know they tried to make the O-line a little bit better, and I think that's good. But if we're going to, this is my main argument. Najee Harris is inefficient and not about to catch the ball. But we're not liking guys like Rachaad White who are inefficient but is going to catch the ball. I don't know, man. Najee got him at 17.
Oh.
Kraft man. What you think, Kraft man?
I got him at RB11. I think he was injured for the first part of the year last year. And at the end of the year, he really won people championships, truthfully. I mean, after, let's see here. Let me get to the game log right quick. So, after week 10, he was RB3. He had 25 points, 10, 9, 12, 14, 12, 19, 13. He was a great RB2 for your team. And that's where I got him ranked. I got him ranked at RB11, so I'm a little bit.
You got him at 1.
I'm a little bit. I'm just a believer.
I mean, I got him at 15.
I'm a believer in the Steelers' offense this year.
Yeah.
I'm just iffy on them, man. I feel like it could be better, and then I'll be wrong about Najee, but I also feel like it could be the same thing. But that was tough. I mean, I'll be honest. The Steelers have been the toughest ones, man. I don't really know what to think about them guys.
I agree, dude. And let me chime in just a little bit. And I know y'all already know this, but Mike Tomlin refuses to have a losing season. All right. And he's got a quarterback. He drafted in the first round. This is his sophomore year. His sophomore year coming in, starting. And Najee's been there behind a bad offensive line. They upgraded the offensive line, number 12 in the league. And I got a good feeling about Najee this year. Just like when Derrick Henry came in, everybody was like, oh, he's big badass. I'm going to draft him. That team needed a little bit of development. And then Derrick Henry needed some development. Now look at him. And I feel like Najee's the next Henry. Yeah, Alabama motherfuckers do that shit. You know what I mean? Just like Josh Jacobs. Took him a couple years. Bam, he just blew up on you. And I think Najee's this year's Jacobs.
Not to
Because
mention the offensive line improvements and the tight end with Darnell Washington being an incredible blocker. Their offensive line has improved crazy.
Yes. And Kenny Pickett is developing, and there's a lot of great talks about Kenny Pickett coming out of tweets and training camp. And like I said, Mike Tomlin's one of those coaches that refuses to lose, dude. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, you want their running back. You've always wanted them, no matter who it was. They know how to draft fucking running backs. And I like Najee. I got him at number 15, but I feel like that's a good spot for him.
You said 15 in?
Yeah.
See, me and him, we ain't too far off. I just feel like when I put Najee down here at 17, I feel like a hater. I really don't feel like I'm hating on it too much. It's not really even a Najee thing. It's really, is Kenny Pickett going to take a step forward? And I just acknowledge the fact that this dude's not about to be catching the ball as much as he was his rookie season. But this is what I acknowledge I could be wrong on this one.
It's not a sexy pick by any means. Like you don't draft Najee and you're like, oh shit, I just got the crazy talent who's just ready to break. But it's more opportunity based to me, and just that I think the Steelers' offense is going to be better. Their offensive line is going to be better, and Mike Tomlin has historically just ran one running back into the ground year after year. Really, they don't really. I like Jaylen Warren's talent, but I'm not one of them guys that's like, oh, Jaylen Warren is going to be taking a lot of work from Najee.
No, he's not taking the job from Najee Harris. I guarantee that.
All right, so next, basically, fellas, I think from here on, we're just going to go through them. We're going to talk about, because there's a couple of them we really need to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and name all the rankings real quick. 15, we have ETN, Dobbins at 16, Breece Hall at 17, Miles Sanders 18. Alexander Madison 19, Damian Pierce 20, James Connor 21, Kenneth Walker 22, Cam Akers 23, Rashad White 24. Because the first one we got to really talk about, because there's a few of them we really got to talk about, is this is Monty Craft's guy. We got to explain ourselves with Miles Sanders. I know me and him got him at 14. And where do you have Miles Sanders at?
Oh, let me scroll down for a little while. Number 21.
21.
21. So, listen, I've never really been a big Miles Sanders guy, but this one right here, the formula checks out right here going to Carolina. He's about to go to a Carolina team that just paid him on a 4-year deal. There's not a disgruntled Miles Sanders right now. This dude's happy. He's got money. He's going on a 4-year deal. I think you got to realize that. Oh, where does O-line rank for Carolina in?
16.
16? Ooh, so we're talking average. But
very, very average.
Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard had good success running the football in Carolina last year. But now we got a new head coach. Frank Wright's there. Bryce Young, who just spent all last year dumping the ball down to Jahmyr Gibbs. Miles Sanders definitely has the talent to catch the ball. Frank Wright was in Indianapolis. What was they doing? They're throwing the ball to Jonathan Taylor a lot. This one right here, the formula checks out. I think he's got the contract. He's got the catching ability. He's going to have the targets. He's got a rookie quarterback. With that said, I just said he threw the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to come into the NFL. He's going to throw the ball to the running back. This one right here, it might be spicy. But Miles Sanders, I'm all in.
I'm going to chime in just for a second because this is all I got to say about Miles Sanders. I liked the way he looked last year, and I even told my cousin, I was like, I think this is Miles Sanders' year, and he had a great year. But I also believe he was a product of that offensive line. They had a great offensive line. And I feel like Miles Sanders is 1 year removed from his most elite year. I feel like next year he's going to be elite, but this year I got to wait and see. I can't put him up that high.
My one rebuttal I would say to the O-line, because obviously Philly has a great O-line. Miles Sanders was in a split with like 3 running backs, and Jalen Hurts is taking a lot of rushing touchdowns away from this man. He's going to be the 3-down back in Carolina. I mean,
yeah.
And I don't see Bryce Young taking that many rushing touchdowns. I mean, he's mobile, but even at his time in Alabama, he wants to throw the ball. He wants to be in the pocket. So, Kraft, go ahead and explain yourself on Miles Sanders.
Well, Miles Sanders last year, he only had 259 carries, so not that much. Saquon had 295 carries. This guy is going to get up in that range. He's always been efficient. He's averaged the whole year with 6 yards per carry. Last year, he was 4.9 yards per carry. Good offensive line. The only thing, I do have him ranked pretty high. I know a lot of people said, Jalen Hurts stole a lot of goal line work, which he did. He definitely stole a lot of goal line work.
That little sneak.
It was.
The little quarterback sneak.
But Miles Sanders still scored 11 rushing touchdowns on the ground. So I don't know if he's going to reach that number because Carolina's offense isn't even close to as good as Philly's. I don't know if he's going to have that as many opportunities around the goal line, even with Jalen Hurts still in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Hell no.
So, but the thing that I'm high on Miles Sanders was the guy finished as an RB15 last year, and he had, he had 26 targets and 20 catches. If you get this man up, we got a rookie quarterback. If you can get him up to Saquon Barkley numbers with 57 receptions, 50 receptions, if he can get 1,200 yards just like he did last year and double his receptions and put up 500 receiving yards, that's automatic. It's automatic RB15.
I think he has to double his receptions because he's not going to get the running opportunities.
I think he's going to triple.
I think he's going to get more rushing opportunities than he did in Philly because he's not going to get, like Matt said, you ain't got Kenneth Gainwell there. You ain't got Jalen Hurts still in all the rushing work.
But your offense is always going to be on fucking third down,
and they're going to throw the ball a lot to him.
They're going to throw it to him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to get the rushing opportunities, but he's going to get his passing opportunities have to double at least.
Receptions are more
I think
important
that's
than
safe.
rushing.
I
Look at
know,
Austin Eckler.
I
but
think this
it's
on
still a very questionable offense, and I don't want to take that risk when
I
there's other guys
get
around him that are very established.
I do get what Ian's saying. Like the offense clearly ain't gonna be as good as what they were in Philly. But I had a dude ask on Twitter, "You think Miles Sanders over a 49 and a half catches over and under?" I'm thinking that feels safe, 49, and that's already over double than what he got last year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're looking at the 60 range, 60 ish, something like that.
49 catches. Well, yeah, because their receivers are what, Adam Thielen and
Jonathan Mingo, a rookie,
DJ Chark.
Hayden Hurst.
yeah. He's definitely going to get 49 catches. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the receiving work's got to go up, and if it doesn't, then he might not be that good. But
yeah, if he can't catch the ball, then he's fucked.
I mean, he's a good pass catcher. Philly just didn't throw the ball.
I know he is.
right,
Yeah.
so that one right there, it's
He's-
like
he's-
I've never
he's
been that
risky
much of
for
a Miles
me, but
Sanders guy, but
where he's going, I think it's a good pick where he's going, but it's just too risky for me when there's other people that
He's going as
it just
he's
depends.
going as the RB20. I mean,
heck, man,
that's as safe as you can get. You're talking about a guy who could finish as the RB8, in my opinion. Like,
I guarantee he'll outplay his
Yeah,
ADP.
RB20, that's like your RB3, RB late RB2, early RB3.
yeah, I don't see that. I definitely don't see that. Deontay
definitely-
Foreman
I'll
had
take
good
him-
games last year, man. Deontay Foreman was eating.
I'll take him as RB3, but usually my RB3 has been hitting like Alexander Madison, dude, and
Hey, and that's perfect because we need to go ahead and talk about Alexander Madison. As a crew, we got him ranked at 19. This is just another one of those things. I got Alexander Madison where 23, so not too far off. Where do you got him, Kraft? I know you and Ian are probably both high on him.
16.
16.
I got him at 14.
14, he said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so Alexander Madison, I don't really see nothing wrong with the pick. It's like I feel the same way about Alexander Madison as I do with Tony Pollard. These guys were the backups those years. There's a reason why they were the backups. That's all I'm gonna say. Alexander Madison's about to be on a
Tony
team
Pollard
that's
was a backup. Austin Eckler was a backup.
Man, these guys ain't on that level though.
Yeah.
Bro, come with it, man.
Madison
Tell me every
sure
time you
ain't on
didn't
that.
see Alexander Madison run the ball, you were like, please just give this man the ball every time.
Hey, there's no doubt. Alexander Madison's good. There's no doubt about it.
But-
I just not as high as everybody else is. I'm high on him. I'll take him as an RB2. Late
But
RB2.
he's the Tony Pollard thing, you know what I mean? Like he was behind a great running back, and then now he's wide open, you know what I mean? So you get him at a good price. It's a starting running back on a good team that's going to score a lot of points, and it's hard to push him down, dude. You know what I mean?
What's his ADP?
He's the RB23.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm right on then, fellas. I expect Alexander Madison to be on Ian's team and average those this year. Then have him at
I'll
14.
pick just like I'm gonna pick George Kittle everywhere, but we ain't talking about that.
Yeah, you gonna miss on that one.
I heard that. All right, Kraft, Alexander Madison, go. Just give us a little plead your case. Anything to say about him?
The same thing I've been saying: opportunity. He is not as good as Dalvin Cook. It's not the Zeke Pollard situation. I don't know what y'all talking about. Pollard is better than Zeke. Madison is worse than Dalvin Cook. He's not as good.
Yeah,
He's not as good. Dalvin Cook is a great running back. He can break the long run. Blah blah blah. He's just better. But Madison is good, and he's gonna
he's gonna get the opportunity.
Yeah, he's gonna get opportunities, and they've pretty much said through training camp that they see Alexander Madison as a 3-down back. There's no competition there at all. I mean, this depth chart is terrible. He plays for a really good team. He's going to score a lot of points. Yep. And one thing about Minnesota, though, they're bottom half of the league at running the football. They don't run much, and they don't throw to the running backs much. Why would you when you have Justin Jefferson? So,
Yeah.
They gonna throw the ball more
Yeah,
this year. I
they're
think.
going to throw the ball
Low
more.
end RB2, high end RB3. He's a lock.
I think so too. Just based on the goal line that he's going to get and the opportunity he's going to get 300 carries this year or 250 carries this year. I don't think he can finish outside of the top 20 running backs. So I think he's a good pick at current ADP. And
Agreed.
And if you want to go up as far as Ian's going, I don't think that's a bad deal either.
Now that's risky to me at 14.
Well, you would take Rachaad White though.
Hey, not at 14. That's high.
That's a guy we got.
I mean, we're looking at.
That's a guy we got to talk about.
Well, heck, I feel like we talk about him all the time, but I'll talk about him. We got Rachaad White at 24. I got him at 18, which I feel like I'm high on him, but 18 doesn't even feel that high for Rachaad White to me. I mean, who we got him going ahead of? Where's he going in ADP? Probably way out the top 24.
I mean, I got him at 25, so I'm right at ADP. But a couple guys I got over him. I got Dameon Pierce, your guy, J.K. Dobbins, James Conner, Kenneth Walker, Cam Akers. My sexy pick, though, this is probably the one you disagree with most, is David Montgomery. I actually have over Rachaad White.
I have David Montgomery over Rachaad White as well.
Do you really?
I don't even know if I got.
Yes. I have Rachaad White at number 29 and David Montgomery at 28.
You need to. I'm right at ADP, Ian. I think this is you. You need to take the floor right here. 29. 29 seems a little low. I agree with Matt on the fact that he's going to get a lot of opportunity. So, plead your case, Ian.
Hold on one second, dude. Let me find him.
Scrolling down.
Yep. I'm going down to try to find Rachaad White. But
I thought you were talking about Montgomery.
Hold on, talk for a second. Let me find Rachaad White.
I mean,
okay. I got him right here. So the thing about Rachaad White, man, is when it comes to explosive plays and yards per carry and yards per catch and his touchdown, he was just terrible, dude. He was terrible. He played 17 games, finished as the 36th running back, like 3.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, like on 129 attempts, which is nothing. 481 yards. Like, how could you draft this guy?
Fournette
like, I mean,
he was in a split. A whole 50. Really, not even a 50-50.
Bro, but his opportunities that he did have, he didn't produce in my eyes. And
you talking last year?
I feel like, and that's all we have to go off of is last year. I'm not talking about. All I'm saying is Rachaad White is on a crappy team with a crappy quarterback, and he hasn't proven anything to me so far so long. And I feel like he's going to have to show me something. Yeah, he's fucking young stud. Everybody says he's good, but Tom Brady's not there anymore. Like, it's not Bruce Arians isn't there anymore. They got Todd Bowles, who always has a losing season.
He is terrible.
All right, well, here.
He is the worst.
I will rebuttal that one then because he was on a bad team. He was on a bad team last year with a quarterback who was sorry last year. This year, he's just going to have more opportunity. What's his competition? An undrafted running back?
Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. So he's got no competition. He wasn't even in a 50-50 split last year. This dude was in like a 30-70 split, especially at the beginning of the year.
There's a reason for that, bro. There's a reason for that.
Well, yeah.
Why did Pacheco beat Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the job, but Rachaad White couldn't beat Leonard Fournette?
He didn't beat Clyde out. Clyde was injured.
Okay. He didn't beat Clyde, got hurt, and Leonard Fournette is way better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That ain't even debatable.
I wouldn't say that Leonard Fournette is any better than Clyde, but Clyde was injured.
No,
I would.
And that's why I'm
Okay.
totally out on Pacheco. I ain't even got him in my top 36.
Pacheco has a dinner roll, bro. Pacheco is
But even at the back half of the year, Rashad White, he was in the game. He was playing in the back half of the year. But this is the reason why I'm even high on him. The offense is going to be bad, but what are they going to do? He's got no competition. They're just going to throw the ball to Rashad White. Baker's going to be checking it down. He's got, last year, this dude's got targets of 9, 8, 5, 5, 4. I mean, I'm not saying that there's going to be a RB1 or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you look at the eye test, we're talking about he's inefficient, but nobody holds that against Najee.
The last from week 12 to the end of the year, he didn't have over 15 carries, and he did have 9 targets, 8 targets, 5
Exactly.
2, 4 5 0. Like it
That was week
degressed.
18. That was week 18.
I mean, but I'm saying, but he scored it as at best like a RB3.
So basically, what we're saying is that the dude really didn't even play much. Then in the back half of the year, he came in and got over 5 targets in like 5 out of the last 6 games.
All right. Well, let's talk about somebody else.
But this is where we get to his rushing attempts and stuff. Everybody says he's inefficient, but nobody holds that against Najee Harris for being inefficient.
Steelers are much better offense. Going to be, well, we think they're going to be this year.
Allegedly. I mean, what you call it? The Buccaneers still got better weapons than the Pittsburgh.
Think Najee watching the game, like he looks inefficient, but when I watch him play, he breaks 3 tackles, but he still only gains 3 yards because their offensive line was so bad. When I watch Rashad White, and I ain't even hating on Rashad White because I'm right at ADP. I actually think he's going to get enough opportunity to be a sufficient RB2. So
that's where I got him.
I mean he'll be all right, but
be solid.
Yep, but I don't even know what I was saying. What was I talking about, Matt?
Basically, it's just like Rashad White. All I'm saying is he's going to catch the ball. That's pretty much all I'm going to say. The offense, I mean, all those arguments that we're saying now, the offense is bad, he's inefficient. Like the offense was bad last year. Yeah. I mean, they weren't good. Tom Brady was not good last year. So
I would worry about him in Dynasty though, because he hasn't shown anything to hold down a role in that offense. I mean, he's really just the best running back they got right now, and it's not good. And he's
third round.
And I don't think he's good. I mean, I just don't like the talent myself, but I like the opportunity he's going to get. But this may be the last. May be the last year that you hear about Rashad White.
Well, I won't debate that, but that's pretty much where I stand. Opportunity, no competition.
But who do you have him ranked
Baker
over?
Mayfield's there.
You're the highest. Who do you have him ranked over?
Of course, Joe Mixon.
Okay.
Kenneth Walker, James Conner. I don't know, man. James Conner, that one feels a little rough to me. I feel like I want to keep Conner's iffy. I want to keep moving it. I got him ahead of Dameon Pierce, and I like Dameon Pierce. I guess that's another guy we got to talk about because Ian likes Dameon Pierce. Where you got him at?
You want to know where I have Dameon Pierce?
Yep.
Running back number 16.
I got him at 22. Where you got him at, Kraft?
22. No, wait, whoa, that was Cam Akers. Sorry about that. 24.
So me and you are kind of close. All
right,
man. Well, you want to say anything about Dameon Pierce?
Do I? Yeah, I mean, Dameon Pierce speaks for himself, dude. I mean, he's on a shitty offense with a shitty team, and he was a rookie, and he came in and immediately in training camp they started him. You know what I mean? And it's I don't really have too many.
Don't forget he had to beat out Rex Burkhead now.
I mean, I know, and I don't have too many points of why he's going to be good or why he's going to be this, that, and the other. All I'm saying is I like Dameon Pierce, and I got him ranked up there, and y'all can go suck a dick because this boy's bad.
Now, I will say one thing. Dameon Pierce does pass the eye test for me. There's no way that people I know Houston. Everybody thinks Houston's sorry, and they're not good. There's a reason why they had the number 2 pick or whatever they had. But Devin Singletary doesn't exactly scare me off, especially from where I got him ranked. I got him ranked at. It's funny because I got him at 22. You got him at 24, and I feel like you think you're down on him. I feel like I'm high on him. I mean, he's just RB2-ish in my eyes.
Yeah.
Nothing to really
yeah,
be.
of course. I mean, he had 9 games that got you more than 10 fantasy points, and 3 of those were over 15. One of them was over 20, and that's a super solid RB2. And I'm drafting him like RB3. I mean, I got him. I feel like he's a really good dude. If you go late running backs, I think he's going to be a good guy to get later on. I mean, in my eyes, I got him. I got him over Brees Hall right now, and Ramondre Stevenson and ETN, and that's really how I feel, dude. Honestly, like I think Dameon Pierce, you know what I mean. I got shot on for saying Josh Jacobs was good last year. I'm getting shit on for saying Dameon Pierce is good, but y'all watch and see.
You crazy as fuck about that one.
Anybody, Kraft? Any other running backs we want to break down? It's the running back episode.
I do got to talk about Dameon Pierce right now because last year, weeks 3 through 14, which was his hottest stretch where he was getting all the work, he was the RB13 last year. So, very, very good. But he was also getting 85% of the market share for his team, which was third in the NFL, only behind Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry during that time. So he was getting the volume. I mean, the volume was there for Dameon Pierce. Devin Singletary comes in. He's not going to get that volume again. And there's no way he's finishing over RB 15. Yeah, I mean, that's bottom line.
Why do you think that Devin Singletary is going to take work away from?
Because he's better than Rex. Because he's better than Rex Burkhead and whoever the hell they else had out there.
But Devin Singletary was the number 1 running back for one of the best teams in the league last year, and he didn't even finish in the top. I don't even.
Well,
12.
it's kind of tough when Josh Allen runs in touchdowns every damn time, and they throw the ball 90% of the time.
They would have gave it to him if he was a good player.
He was decent. I mean, his yards per carry isn't bad. Devin Singletary is not a bad running back. That's all I'm saying is Devin Singletary is going to eat.
He's right. You're right. He's not a bad running back.
Where do you got Dameon Pierce ranked right now, Ian?
I got Dameon Pierce at number 16.
I just told you he was the RB13 last year with an 85% market share. He was getting 85% of the work last year, and he was the RB13. He's going to be –
right.
The Texans are going to be bad. Devin Singletary is going to take at least 40% of the work. It could be a 60-40 split. And then and they're not going to move the ball. They're not going to be scoring touchdowns. I mean,
Devin Singletary is there. Devin Singletary is there just in case. Singletary is there just in case he gets hurt. That's the only reason Singletary is there.
I'm closer to Ian on that side. I don't think Singletary. I'm not really buying into he's coming in.
He's the only reason he's there is just in case Dameon Pierce gets hurt. Dameon Pierce is going to eat like a motherfucking sumo wrestler, just like Josh Jacobs did last year. And mark my words on this shit. I'm going to rub it in your face next year.
Hey, Dameon Pierce, though, I agree with Matt. He does pass the eye test. I really do. Like, when I watch him and then I watch Rachaad White, I'm like, Dameon Pierce is 10 times better than fucking Rachaad White.
All day.
I think Dameon Pierce is funny. He was getting a lot of love last year on Twitter and stuff like that. Now he's getting a lot of hate. Pretty much was because of his draft capital, but they didn't. I mean, I would feel better about Dameon Pierce than bringing in some veteran than them drafting the other guy. So,
yeah. And this isn't a guy that dynasty-wise where I was talking about bad Rachaad White where we might not hear about him again. I don't think Dameon Pierce is that guy. I think Dameon Pierce is going to have a job in the NFL for a long time because he is a good NFL running back, and he passes the eye test. He runs hard as shit, but it's just the offense for me, and I just on the side where I think Devin Singletary eats in more than the guys did last year, so I can't rank him that high because just the offense and splitting a little bit of work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that, but you don't bring in a washed up veteran to take away work. You know what I mean? Like it happened with Jamal Williams last year, but Jamal Williams is an outlier. You know what I mean? I think it's more of just in case type thing because you want to have depth at the running back position more than anything else. But
Yep.
but I think he's gonna have a great year. Honestly, I just really do. I mean, he had a good year last year, and he was a rookie, and I think he's just gonna go up from here.
Any more running backs that we need to touch on real quick? This is a deep dive that we giving them today. What you got for me, Craig? Anybody else you want to talk about?
I kind
What you got, Ian?
I kind of want to talk about DeAndre Swift
Talk about him.
because DeAndre Swift kind of got shit on last year with Jamal Williams, and I feel like he didn't do great, and his mindset wasn't there. But now he's on the team with the greatest offensive line in the league, and I really want to draft him. I want to draft him high, but I can't, and I don't know why. And I want to like DeAndre Swift because he's on a team with a great offensive line, but
Look,
he's ranked so low. I got him at 25. I got him under Pacheco.
yeah, I'm right there step by step with Ian. DeAndre Swift is good. I think he's good as fuck. I mean, the dude was in Dynasty rankings. He was top 5 in Dynasty rankings like last season before this coming up season. So we're talking about a dude with talent. But I'm with him. I got DeAndre Swift. I got him at 27. To get this, crowd, you're going to like this one. I got DeAndre Swift ranked behind Cam Akers. So you know I'm low on DeAndre Swift. And this is the only thing about DeAndre Swift. He's going to have some good games this year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And so is Rashad Penny. And so is Kenneth Gainwell's going to be up in there too. I mean, it's just a tough one. You're going to put him. He's tough. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, where I'm at, I got him ranked at RB 26, so I'm right there with y'all. So, and I agree with everything you said. It's tough because Rashad Penny is probably a better in between the tackles running back when he's healthy, but we probably all know Rashad Penny probably ain't gonna be healthy, and DeAndre Swift.
Oh, we've been talking about Rashad Penny forever, bro. Yeah. He's not even on my mind, bro. I don't. Rashad Penny is not.
Both of them guys won't be healthy. I've even been picking up Kenneth Gainwell just to handcuff it on in my dynasty leagues. So
Gainwell's
but Philly don't throw the ball to running backs, and that's where DeAndre Swift really made his hay with the Lions. And you know, if you were to ask me who's a better talent between if they're healthy, Rashad Penny or Jamal Williams, I would say Rashad Penny is a better talent with a better offensive line. But, you know, Rashad Penny, you can't really put no stock
Rashad Penny hasn't shown me nothing, bro.
I mean, he's been good. He just can't stay on the field.
Exactly, bro. Dude, don't even talk about Rashad Penny.
You gotta bet on I mean, I don't want to see people get injured, but if Rashad Penny goes down,
Rashad Penny's
DeAndre Swift's the biggest back on their team.
Rashad Penny has the knees. Rashad Penny has the knees of a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, these guys both injury prone, but I see what the Eagles are doing. They're paying these guys low money, but in fantasy wise, I do think every now and then they're gonna have some good games. I think even Swift will have some good games, but it's gonna be tough to put them in your lineup. More of some best ball plays, if you ask me, where you ain't got to worry about that type of shit. Best balls for the bitches, though. Real men play redraft.
Real men. Bro.
I got a couple guys, though.
Go for it.
I got Javonte Williams ranked at 27. Where do you got him, Matt? And where you got him in?
Ooh,
I got 33. Him at 24.
Okay, what?
And that's really high because of the news has been good.
I know.
I would have had low.
So what happens if the news? What if he plays throughout the preseason? No setbacks. How high will you raise him up in your rankings? Say Javonte Williams doesn't have any setbacks through the preseason. You're gonna rank him over Dameon Pierce? You're gonna rank him over Cam Akers?
I'll rank him over Miles Sanders.
I'm gonna rank him over Miles Sanders. I'm gonna rank him closer to Tony Pollard. If I'm just being honest, we getting up there in that. I'll rank him ahead of ETN. If we're talking about the dude plays the whole preseason and all that,
You're gonna
I mean, he's
the
a
running
You're gonna jump
back.
that high. I mean, I still think Piron's gonna be involved.
He'll be
right.
involved, but he's about to be a running back in Sean Payton's offense. I mean, I don't know,
He
man.
could have an explosive year.
But
But
that's just best case scenario. I
that's
mean,
better. And I think he's good talent, but it's hard to say right now, man. It's hard to say.
I'm not really going. I wouldn't rank him that high because but I'll say the only thing I'm gonna say about this is way different than last year with J.K. Dobbins. Like people were definitely being skeptical on Dobbins the whole time. It was only Dobbins coming out saying this and that. These reports about Javonte Williams, even though it was the same injury, I don't know, man. Already cleared for contact, all that stuff. I'm gonna move him way up. I'm just being honest. Samaje's good, but heck, Joe Mixon was doing stuff when Samaje was there. Devontae's way better than Joe Mixon. So
I mean, I think I'd put him in the range of like Cam Akers range, Kenneth Walker range. That's another guy. Kenneth Walker, we're all the consensus. We ain't got to dive into him much, but we're all down on Kenneth Walker. I got him at 21.
20 for me. So yeah, that one's tough too. Heck, both of those guys are hurt. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet.
Yeah. Well, Charbonnet's back in practice. Yeah. Charbonnet's fine.
Okay.
So I got one more question before we sign off here. Washington backfield. Who are you guys taking? Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson?
Oh shit!
Hey, we gonna see a resurgence of Antonio Gibson. I'm thinking, and his ADP is low.
In Dynasty, I'm taking Robinson, but for redraft, I got to grab Gibson. If I take, but I'm trying to stay. I'm staying away from that backfield. I'm staying away from that.
Yep, I'm kind of with in on that one. But I do think Antonio Gibson. I do think our eyes should be open, and we should be paying attention to what's about to happen up there.
Yep.
And yeah, dude, it might blow up, but right now that's one of the worst teams in the league, dude. And I don't want any fucking burgundy jerseys on my roster.
All right, then. Well, shoot, man. I say we just go ahead and wrap this thing on up. We dove deep on the running backs today. That was a good ass episode. Craftman, anything to say? Real quick, 5-star review. Add us on Twitter. If you want to see our rankings, go check us out on Twitter. They will be there. Mine and Craft.
They will be there, square.
Craft, say something real quick.
Man, the only reason I was asking if you wanted to split up this episode is because I've had to pee for the last hour, but you know.
Oh, damn, my bad.
I done peed twice, man.
Right after this is done, gotta go. But appreciate everybody for listening. You know, we really do appreciate it. And you know,
this episode is brought to you by Jim Beam Bourbon and some of the green stuff you can get in your backyard.
Hey, in fact, hit us up, Jim Beam. All right, then. Let's sign on out of here, man. Thanks for listening, everybody. But we out.
Peace.
Draft Bijan Robinson. Peace.